What is the best way you have ever gotten revenge? I made my old boss think I gave him herpes. I worked in a crappy factory for a while, and my boss was a dick. A dick beyond dicks, like fire people for no reason then go home and beat your wife dick. He was also untouchable due to his uncle owning the company. He would come down to the floor while we were at break to check our work, and he would use my gloves to do it. Made us buy our own gloves. I bought really nice comfy ones. Thought this was extremely nasty. It was the middle of summer, and asked him to stop. He just shrugged. After about 3 happenings I got an idea. I grabbed an old pair of gloves, a poison ivy leaf, and a hammer. Put the poison ivy in glove and pounded away. Kept the gloves in a bag in my lunchbox till I went to lunch. Sure enough, left the poison gloves out and he used them. I came back and sure enough he used them. 2 hours later he came out to my machine, itching like crazy and red bumps all over his hands. Came right up to me, "Let me see your hands." I showed him my hands, he showed me his. "You didn't use my gloves, did you? I got some terrible rash on my hands from some slut at the strip club last week." No words, no looks, he just left. He left work, went to the DR, and I hope told that exact story. My ex-wife kidnapped my daughter and went to Germany to live with her parents. After $50,000, 5 lawyers, in 2 countries, the State Department, Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and lots of anxiety, I got my daughter back and had a fucking lethal court case against my ex. I chose to drop the charges because I didn't want my daughter to have a mom that was in jail. The county decided to drop the kidnapping charges if she agreed to return to the USA. I could have had anything I wanted from that court case, but all I asked for was 50-50 its influence on custody, education, health, and life decisions. That's all I was asking for originally before my ex flipped her shit and left in the first place. Now my ex is married and has become super religious. I have taught my daughter to be accepting of others' beliefs, but to question everything. She thinks her mom is nuts. My daughter is fucking awesome. In high school, my best friend since the 3rd grade, blew my BF of 2 years. I found out and stopped talking to her. She then starts dating this really hot guy a year older than us, and I became his friend. We turn into really good friends, and after a year of her being with him, and him being my new best friend, he finally admits he has feelings for me. He then dumps her, and I get the satisfaction of watching her cry in the parking lot. Best revenge ever. I didn't suck his dick and he left her just because he liked me. I was living with a friend of mine and a girl I didn't know too well. We became friends and started hanging out a bunch. I ended up getting into a car accident on the freeway and had to move home. It took me a few days to get back to pack, and when I did, most of my stuff was missing. I was furious and upset about it. The girl told me my friend had a few people over and that maybe they had taken the stuff. Well, I went to grab some boxes and pack some more while she was gone and went into her room to snoop, and sure enough, this girl had taken over half my closet and hid it in her room, including my CDs, old antique perfume bottles my grandma had given me, down to socks and bras. WTF? So anyway, I was livid, packed all my stuff and took all my stuff out of her room that she was trying to steal. Then went back with some black garbage bags and took all of her clothes she had hanging up and anything else I could find. Took it all to BFE and lit it on fire. She called me frantic and said she was missing all her stuff, and I told her the people that took my stuff must have took hers too. Once she knew she'd been caught, she threatened me and told me she was going to call the cops. I told her to go ahead. They wouldn't have found anything anyway. In 4th grade, I was really into paper plane making. I even bought this book of all the world record holding paper planes and would read it every day. I had just moved to America and wore very tacky clothing, so I was made fun of a lot. So one day, I copied the design of the paper plane that had the record for longest time in the air, 13.2 seconds or something, and threw it around the playground. It was in the air for 14 seconds. As I rushed to pick it up though, this asshole 5th grader came out and stepped on it. Now I was a tiny brown Indian kid and he was a big hockey playing 5th grader, but the anger took over me. I punched him in the face, he bled, and I ran away thinking I was in trouble. He never mentioned it to anyone though, and was always nice to me throughout middle school and high school. TLDR, punched in respect. In 8th grade, the class bitch spread a rumor saying that me and my best friend were lesbian for each other and that I'd contracted head lice from her pubes. Coincidentally, the kids we babysat at the time had a bad case of lice. In a moment of ingenuity, me and my friend swiped a few off their heads and put them in an envelope. The next morning in homeroom, we saw the little cunt asleep on her desk and dumped the lice on her head when no one was looking. They made themselves at home and she had lice for a month. for lovely weeks of giggling uncontrollably every time we saw her hopelessly scratching her infested head during class. Payback's a bitch. Oh. I posted this in a thread about whether or not anyone had legitimately slapped anyone, but I'm pretty sure it was buried. Maybe this time I'm not too late. The first time I ever got drunk, my neighbor was having a keg party and told me to come over. A bunch of my older brother's friends were there, and not really knowing anyone else, I was hanging out with them. I asked the fateful question, how do you know when you're drunk? When you can't feel your face anymore. *slap. 5 years later, I was at a party with a bunch of the same people. I walked up to the man who slapped me, wound up, and slapped him as hard as I could across his stupid bearded face. The whole room went quiet, and I announced 5 years ago, ____________ S party, you slapped me. Now we're even. Slow clap. Vindication. So I just found out that my ex-girlfriend was only in a relationship with me because she wanted someone to go to prom with. I really liked her, so I dropped $240 on the night, tickets for us both, a tux, a nice corsage, and of course some alcohol. Well, after I found out that she had just used me to go, a mutual friend of ours showed me a conversation they'd been having. Something along the lines of how many guys she's hooking up with, how they are super hot, chiseled abs, whatever. I was pissed because she never once hooked up with me, and she wasn't even in a relationship with any of them. A couple months after all of this, that same friend showed me a text from my ex saying FUCK. I have gonorrhea. Posted it on FB and tagged her in it. Boom. Not me, but my older brother. Him and his friends were in high school, and there was some bitch of a girl that would come and steal his friend's milkshake every day at lunch. This had been going on for a while, and it was pissing all of them off, so my brother came up with a way to get back at her. The next day would be like any other, his friend would get his lunch and milkshake, but they would cut up some X-Lax and stir it into the milkshake. The next day rolls around and they proceed with the plan. Well, the bitch comes in all her bitchiness and takes the milkshake, laughing while she snatches his drink, and I think called him some rude name or something. The joke was on her though, because she apparently didn't show up for school for the next 3 days. That girl was Khalees, and it was the day that her milkshake did not bring any boys to the yard. Edit, that last sentence is a lie. Spoiler! I was in a local mall's indoor car park and was about to leave. It was peak hour and traffic inside was crawling. I side parked and was the end of the row, so all I had to do was drive forward to join in the crawling traffic. This guy that saw me getting into my car, obviously being a dick, decided to stick really closely to the car in front so as to not let me join in. Bear in mind the traffic now was not moving. I started my engine and waited for the dick to pass before joining in the queue. He then got so close that he rammed into the bumper of the car he was sticking closely to. That felt real good. I smirked to myself and reversed to exit the other way. Karma's a bitch. This is the best I can think of right now. I'm the manager of a local gym in my area. Of course, we have contracts that state you can only cancel your membership for certain reasons and have to pay a small cancellation fee. At most it's like $50. Now, being the manager, sometimes I let the cancellation slide if they have a really legitimate reason and let them cancel and just pay the fee. One day last year, this girl came in to cancel. She told me why, and I went over the rules with her again and her other options. She gets really cunty once I tell her the rules because her reason does not really apply to cancel. I was thinking about letting her slide at first until she started being a royal bitch to me. Instead, I told her nope and made her pay off the remaining 10 months of her contract to cancel. And it was her birthday. **TLDR happy birthday, bitch. ***. One summer, I took an Algebra 2 class. Dringer break me and a classmate played blackjack for cash. One day, I was down about $20 bucks, and I paid up. The very next day we played again, but I won my money back and then some. My classmate wouldn't pay up. I was pissed, so I was plotting revenge. I would always have a pack of gum on me, and that bastard would always ask for a piece. I went to the drugstore after class and I purchased a pack of clarets and a pack of Phenamint gum, laxative gum, because the packaging looked the same. I have no idea why that company invented a laxative gum, but I thank the Lord some crazy bastard did. The next morning I walked into class snapping gum. Sure enough, he took the bait. He asked me for some gum and I gave him 2 pieces. He chewed that gum for about an hour. That asshole also stole a fruit pie from another kid's lunch bag right next to him while still chewing on that gum. He spit out the gum, ripped open the fruit pie, and inhaled it. He leapt up from his seat like frogs in a dynamite pond and ran out of class never to return. TLDR kid wouldn't pay a gambling debt, I gave him laxative gum, and he shat himself. So there are these 3 brats in high school taking courses at this piece of shit community college I go to. They keep pathetically trying to insult me and my friend by making lame insults and calling us schmitty. Of course we decide to get back at them and hatch up a plan for me to have sex with the group's leader's hot cougar mom. I start getting friendly with her and getting very close to banging her. But all of a sudden, the kid exposes me for what I'm doing and his bitch mom takes his side. We get into an argument, which I obviously win, shaming him in the process. I end up ruining the kid's life, and I eventually fuck his mom. Asterisk asterisk TLDR asterisk asterisk brats make fun of me, shame them and fuck one of their moms. I was a bouncer, still different bar, at a club in college. We went through an epidemic of girls getting roofed because they would A. Leave a drink somewhere, B. Take drinks from strangers, C. Leave it with the friend zone party dude who took things a little personally. To me, none of those reasons matter. That's jacked up and very very seriously angered me. Well, I found him. It took some detective work, aka bouncer not wearing a security shirt so as not to be noticed, and found that bastard using a powder in a girl's drink while she was gone. We also just happened to have this quaint little back alley through a back door. I spent about 15 minutes befriending this man, or douchebag if you prefer, and told him if he really wanted to party I had some blow in my car out back. I let him lead the way out. And promptly face slammed his head into a wall and knocked him out in the alley. Made sure his pill bottles was easy to find, and left him there. Cops patrol the alley fairly regularly. I went back inside, made sure that the drink had been dumped, called it in on radio before I started talking to douche, put on my actual security clothes and went back to work. Revenge not for me, but for all the girls that should know better, but don't. My best revenge wasn't even something I had to do to get back at someone. One of my ex-girlfriends broke up with me a few years ago. The reason she gave me was that I was unreliable, which didn't really make sense. I found out about a month later that she broke up with me because she screwed her ex while we were together, and she felt horrible for doing it. Fast forward another month, the dude got her pregnant. None of her friends wanted to hang out with her anymore, because who wants to hang out with a pregnant 20-year-old? The baby daddy doesn't want anything to do with her because she broke his heart a year before. Now she has nobody except the baby who looks just like her ex. I'd say it was pretty good revenge, seeing as I could just sit back and laugh as this unfolded. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Love.